Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to our guests to Santa Clara City Hall. If this is the first time you've been here, or numerous times, we're very happy to have you here, so welcome to Santa Clara. It's my honor today to officially raise the Progress Pride flag with all of you in the city of Santa Clara. I'm so pleased to commemorate, this is our 6th year, we officially raised the flag to recognize lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, LGBTQIA+, Pride Month for June. With us today, I would like to start by acknowledging my colleagues on the Santa Clara City Council. First, we have Vice Mayor Suds Jain. Councilmember Kathy Watanabe, District 1. Councilmember Chahal, District 2. Councilmember Karen Hardy, District 3. Councilmember Anthony Becker, District 6. And Anthony will be one of our speakers today as well. We are also pleased to have representative from our Santa Clara Fire Department, Deputy Chief Jeremy Ray, with us today. Where is Jeremy? Oh, there you are. Straight ahead. And our Santa Clara Police Chief, Pat Nikolai. He'll also be one of our speakers. We are also pleased to have our City Manager, Rajiv Batra. Nice shirt, Rajiv. Very good. Also, I'd like to start with our distinguished guests that we have invited here today. Our Assemblymember Alex Lee, representing California's 25th District. Oh, there you are, Alex. Thank you. I know Assemblymember Evan Lowe is on his, oh, is he here? Oh, there you are. You snuck in. Assemblymember Evan Lowe, representing California's 28th District, is joining us today. Thank you, Evan. We are pleased to have Senator Bob Wieckowski. He cut a Zoom short just for this, so thank you, Bob, for coming to Santa Clara. Our wonderful Santa Clara County Supervisor, Susan Ellenberg. We have Olivia Rodriguez representing the office of Congressman Rokana. There you are. Thank you for bringing a certificate today. We appreciate it, Olivia. Sera Fernando from the Santa Clara County Office of LGBTQ Affairs. There she, hi, way in the back. Okay. Ken Yeager, former county supervisor and BAYMEC Community Foundation Executive Director. Thank you, Ken. It's an honor to have you here today. And Gabrielle Antolovich from the Billy DeFrank Center. We have a house full of really wonderful people today. So we're gathered here to celebrate Pride and the impact the LGBTQIA plus individuals have made all over the world. Pride Month is so important to commemorate and to recognize the need to continue to promote diversity, equity, and inclusiveness among our communities. Since the gay rights movement began decades ago, we have seen progress in the movement to fight for legal and civil rights, transgender rights, and marriage equality for all. However, we must not forget that even today, individuals continue to face discrimination, hate, and violence for how they identify. It's so important for all of us to mobilize together against prejudice and protect the rights of all individuals. It's our civic duty to continue to fight for all our rights collectively so that our friends, our family, and our neighbors are accepted for who they are and treated equally. On Tuesday, our City Council will officially proclaim the month of June as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month at our City Council meeting, and Gabrielle will be accepting that, as she does every year for that. So thank you, Gabrielle, in advance. As we raise the flag today, we celebrate the movement and we celebrate everyone who has made courageous contributions and sacrifices to push society in the right direction, to have acceptance and identities for all people. And we all are so fortunate today that all of these movers and shakers are here in one place at City Hall in Santa Clara. So thank you, everyone, for being here today. I would like to start by introducing our first speaker, our Assemblymember Alex Lee, who represents the City of Santa Clara. Alex.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for inviting me here. We really do have a full house of incredible speakers and dignitaries. I'm Assemblymember Alex Lee. I have the great honor of representing the City of Santa Clara in our state assembly, as well as northern Santa Clara County and southern Alameda County. And I also had the distinction of being the first openly bisexual state legislator in California history. But I think that, oh, thank you. I think it also speaks to, what this flag represents. It is the progress flag. It incorporates the struggles of the Black and brown communities who have always been in the forefront of the LGBTQ rights struggle, as well as our trans community members. And there's a lot to be done. As the mayor mentioned right now, at this very moment, there are states that criminalize gender-affirming healthcare, that criminalize the very existence and identity of our trans community members. But California stands as a beacon of hope and a model for inclusion, what that really looks like. And right now, myself and Assemblymember Lowe, who's the chair of our LGBTQ caucus, who leads us in this fight, we really have to be a model for that, because there are so many families out there that are being hurt right now, and even in 2022, where marriage equality could still be coming under threat, we still have to double down and fight our resolve. So we have a lot to celebrate right now in Pride and recognize how far we've come, because certainly I'm sure many folks here remember that there were days that, they could not imagine that an LGBTQ flag could ever be raised in recognition of queer rights. But we have come a long, long way, but we should never go backwards. And also in that vein, I know that a former council member, Jamie McLeod-Skinner, was also one of the first lesbian members who ever served in California. And she was a council member right here in Santa Clara, and now she's running for Congress to be one of their first openly LGBTQ members, which is fantastic. So it really is evident that we really grow some great heroes and legacy makers here in Santa Clara, and I'm really proud to be part of that legacy. But I think we have so much more progress to be going and so much more to do. And also, of course, I want to recognize Anthony Becker, who is one of currently our council member who's an openly gay member. And that is really incredible. It speaks to the progress. So we have to continue the progress, take pride in what we have accomplished, and continue to push for our communities to continue to be included. So thank you so much, and thank you for including me.
Thank you, Assemblymember Lee. Thank you. Thank you for that. Next, we have Assemblymember Evan Lowe, who represents the 28th Assembly District, soon to be Santa Clara at some point, we hope. That was not political. Assemblymember Lowe, thank you.
Mayor, thank you very much. What a wonderful day to celebrate Pride. We are so prideful at seeing the incredible love and inclusion. First of all, I want to thank the incredible allies that are here today. If you identify as an ally of our LGBT community, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your incredible solidarity. It has not always been easy to stand in affirmation of love with our community. And in fact, it wasn't all that long ago that as a young person growing up here, born and raised in Silicon Valley, that I was afraid to be out. And I remember seeing a hero in that of our openly LGBT elected official in Ken Yeager at the time, as a college trustee, as a San Jose council member, as a board of supervisor, serving with distinction and with pride of our community. And Ken, baby Alex Lee, myself, we stand on your shoulders. I know your shoulders are very heavy, but it is a burden to bear. And while we are all here and the numbers keep growing, we must not forget our history. The history that it was not long ago that many of us who are standing here remember Proposition 8, which eliminated the rights of same-sex couples to marry, that openly gay men had a lifetime ban on donating blood, that gay boys were not allowed to be part of the Boy Scouts, that service members of our community were not allowed to be patriots in serving our country. And so as we reflect on the meaning in our history, let us also remember that we have much work to be done, that this is an opportunity for us to reflect on our history, and educate and inform younger generations about the struggles and about the obligations that we have to be an inclusive environment. And that's why I'm so proud to see the mayor and the council with solidarity and recognizing the values of our community, of our city. So let's be proud and let's be prideful. Mayor and council, thank you very much for allowing us to celebrate a beautiful Pride Month. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Appreciate it. Thank you for that. Next, I invite Senator Bob Wieckowski, who represents Santa Clara so well. Thank you, Bob. Come forward.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Gillmor. And it is fun to be here at Santa Clara. You know, it's a nice city. I got my colleagues in the Assembly talking, and it's an honor to join with everybody in the raising of the flag. You know, you've heard from folks, you know, what it means to them as an ally. This flag really represents the true meaning of America. You know, we're banding together as a community here. We're celebrating one's individuality, and we're standing strong in the face of adversity. You know, I'm proud to be here as we fly. You know, we let all the citizens of Santa Clara know that the LGBTQAI plus citizens are welcomed and loved in the city of Santa Clara. And as my colleagues have pointed out, it's not all the same around the United States. Nationwide, at the very base, at the very bottom line, people are being punished for who they are and who they love. Sounds odd to say that in California, that would actually be a motivating. And we here in California, I can't speak for everybody in the legislature, but we're committed to fiercely protect the constitutional rights of everyone in the LGBTQA plus community. California is supposed to serve as a beacon of hope. California is supposed to serve as that shining light for everybody who feels threatened, feels uneased, that yes, one day the whole nation will join hands and will make sure that all those little boys and girls and peoples that feel removed and ostracized from the community, that will be something that they read in their books. So together with everybody here, Pride Month, bring it on, folks. Happiness, peace, and above all, being who you are and loving everybody for who they are. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob, for those words. Next, I'd like to introduce our supervisor, County Supervisor Susan Ellenberg, who is very much dressed for the occasion. Thank you, Susan.
Hey, if I can't be loud and proud here, where can you do it? It really is wonderful to be part of the City of Santa Clara's rainbow flag raising ceremony today, and I am absolutely honored to stand here as a fierce, loyal, and constant ally. This year, it is critically important to continue to stand with our LGBTQ plus families, friends, and neighbors. Despite this country making great strides toward equality over the last 53 years, there is an organized assault to stop and reverse that march. There are more than 280 anti-LGBTQ bills in state legislatures across the country being considered, and a number of them have already been enacted. In Texas, child abuse investigations into families of transgender teens have been authorized. In Florida, using the term gay, lesbian, or bisexual in schools can get you fired or expelled with its Don't Say Gay law. And now, with the Supreme Court seemingly set to reverse a woman's right to choose, which is based on the fundamental constitutional right to privacy, marriage equality cases and other legal privacy decisions are in serious jeopardy. In Santa Clara County, we have been and will continue to be leaders in promoting the rights of the LGBTQ plus community. We support a wide range of community-based organizations that provide services to all ages and segments and demographics in our community. And this year, the Office of LGBTQ Affairs, yay, Fernando, completed a county-wide survey with more than 3,000 respondents to better serve the needs of our older LGBTQ plus population. So now, more than ever, thank you to the City of Santa Clara, to Mayor Gillmor and the council and the interim city manager for standing up for liberty and freedom for all by raising this flag today. To all of the LGBTQ plus community members, you are not alone. You belong here in Santa Clara County, and we will stand with you.
Thank you, Supervisor Ellenberg. Now I'd like to introduce my colleague on the Santa Clara City Council, Anthony Becker from District 6. Anthony.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, good afternoon, everyone. To my fellow Santa Clarans, distinguished guests, and all that are viewing at home. This is an honor to stand here with my council colleagues, as well as Assemblymember Lee, Assemblymember Lowe, Susan Ellenberg, former Supervisor Ken Yeager, and as well as Senator Bob Wieckowski. I said this last year, and I'll say it again. Pride was not born to celebrate being gay, queer, trans, or bi. Pride was born for the right to exist without persecution. The right to be me, the right to be you, and the right to be us. Pride is about inclusiveness, honoring diversity, and paving the way for future generations to live in that harmony and exist without the persecution for who you choose to love. Our work is not done yet. The LGBTQIA plus community has significant challenges ahead. These are very turbulent times. There's an attack on women's reproductive rights, and queer rights are next. We cannot allow any of these regressive actions to suppress our civil rights. I still live in a time where I'm oftentimes self-conscious and worried of being attacked for holding my partner's hand in public. The fears of the past are becoming the fears of today. We are an endemic of racial, gender, and queer phobias. Some of us may try to silence us, suppress our voices. You may try to avoid us and ignore us. You can hate us. You can try to change the laws. We will not be sidelined by bad actors or desperate politicians. We are here, we are queer, and we are going nowhere anytime soon. This is nothing new. We've been fighting discrimination for generations. There's a song I like to recall. It's from 1989 by Billy Joel, and it's titled "We Didn't Start the Fire." The lyrics are literal. We didn't start the fire, we've only been trying to fight it. The fire of hate and patriarchy that has been raging for centuries, they want to continue to live in that pastime paradise. However, hopefully with one day, with the right leadership, we can finally put the fire out and live in harmony. That is why, as a leader of this great city of Santa Clara, I will do what it takes to end the hate, divisiveness, and extremism that plagues our communities. Together, we will enlighten the uneducated and assure real social justice. As I said last year, do not give the past the power to define the future. To my LGBTQIA plus community, never, ever stop reaching for that rainbow. And before I end today, I want to say thank you to the LGBTQ role models and history-making individuals like legend Harvey Milk, former Supervisor Ken Yeager, former Santa Clara Council member and future Congresswoman Jamie McLeod, Assemblymember Evan Lowe. Thank you for your courage, your heart, and your trailblazing service. You all have made our community a happier and safer place. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony, for those great words. Next, I would like to invite our Santa Clara Police Chief, Pat Nikolai, who's been involved. The police chief has always been involved in this ceremony. So, Pat?
Thank you very much, Mayor. I am proud to not only work, but live here in Santa Clara. Santa Clara is an all-inclusive city. Hate has no place in our community. Any crime is disturbing, but a hate crime rips at the very fabric of our society. Victimizing someone simply because of their race or religious belief or sexual orientation is particularly vile, and the Santa Clara Police Department will investigate and arrest anyone who commits such an offense. The Santa Clara Police Department is proud to stand with our LGBTQ plus allies. And I implore you, if you are victimized, please report it to the police department. I guarantee you, you will be treated with respect and dignity, and you will not be re-victimized. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. So now I'm very pleased to introduce Ken Yeager, Executive Director of BAYMEC Community Foundation, and the leader and the pillar in the community here. We're so really pleased to have you here, Ken. Please come forward. And you can take more than a minute if you like, Ken, however long you want to talk.
Well, thank you, Mayor. As I think we're going to talk about in just a little bit, it was 6 years ago. We were all here for the very first time when we raised the flag, and Gabrielle and I are being asked to do it again this year, and so really, it's really quite an honor. One thing I should start off with is when we first raised the rainbow flag at the county. When I got there in 2007, I think what was always so amazing was how many constituents who were doing work at the county building or employees would come and really thank me or thank the county in general for raising the flag. That whether they regardless of their sexual orientation, they saw that flag as an opportunity that they could be themselves, that they were wanted, that we were all inclusive. And that's the same signal that the city of Santa Clara is giving now. And I think we don't have those conversations to know the impact of events like this have, of all the people coming in and out of the City Hall at Santa Clara are going to look up and they're going to see that flag flying and feel better about being a resident or an employee of the city of Santa Clara. And that's why it's always so important. We don't often have opportunities to sort of welcome everybody, but this is certainly one of them. I was at the flag raising at Mountain View on Tuesday. I should say that there wasn't even a whiff of wind. That was one limp flag, but that is not going to be the issue that we have today, so that's going to be nice. And if I could just make a little pitch, as the executive director of the BAYMEC Community Foundation, we have an exhibit at History San Jose documenting the 50-year history of the LGBTQ movement in Santa Clara County. It ends at the end of this month, and we're going to take it on the road. And I haven't had a chance to talk to you about that, Mayor, but it'd be great to have one of the stopping places being the city of Santa Clara.
Wonderful. Yes, absolutely.
And we've also done a documentary called Queer Silicon Valley, and I've been talking to Lon and other people that hopefully we can show it on one of the stations here in Santa Clara County. I should say when you go to the exhibit at History San Jose, we have a section for the openly LGBTQ elected officials, and so we certainly have Jamie and Anthony and Alex and Evan and myself on there, so you can sort of see a little bit of our history. Thanks for having me here today. Thanks.
Thank you, Ken. Don't go far, Ken. Don't go far. All right. Next, I'd like to introduce Sera Fernando from the Santa Clara County Office of LGBTQ Affairs. She was dancing back there, so come on up. Welcome.
Thank you, folks. Thank you, Mayor. And thank you for this opportunity. So my name is Sera. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a proud, queer, transgender woman. Thank you. I work as a senior management analyst and interim manager for the Santa Clara Office of LGBTQ Affairs. And before, I just want to say to each and every one of you folks, happy Pride. And what I want each and every one of you folks to do next to your neighbor, next to the person next to you, just wish them a happy Pride because this is a joyous celebration. So greet each other, happy Pride. Happy Pride. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story, and it's going to be short, But in terms of the flag raising ceremony that you folks have been doing for 6 years, that's incredible. I had a conversation with one of my colleagues at the office in regards to a flag raising ceremony that was happening in a school district in San Jose. They're concerned, and they wanted to bring up Sera, and if you know me in the community, you know me as a little bit more radical outside the business hours, right? But what they were mentioning is that, like, hey, Sera, I want to go for public comment, but I don't know what to say in terms of speaking for having flags raised at the school districts. Being my radical self, I was just like, talk about liberation, talk about the movement, talk about resistance, talk about being your authentic selves. And granted, that works well for me. My colleague said, like, that works for you, but Sera, all I want to do is make sure that my kid feels safe. That my kid feels safe. I know after this, maybe some of you, myself included, I'm going to be running down to Tracy to go to my son's graduation. And I know that what I'm going to see there, I'm going to see the capes of kids wearing the flag that best represents them, be it the intersectional flag, right? Be it the progress flag, be it the bisexual flag, be it the trans flag. They're going to be drawing it on their caps. They're going to be wearing it as a cape because you know what? That's what represents them, and that's what keeps them safe. That cape that they wear, they are a superhero in my eyes. They are a superhero because they know what it takes to keep them safe. And in a world, and I'm glad as Supervisor Ellenberg brought this up, we're living in a time where there's over 200 pieces of anti-LGBTQ legislations that's happening in this nation, a lot of them targeting transgender children. The role of our office is to make sure that we don't just necessarily celebrate Pride during the month of June, but this is a 24/7, 365 effort. That being said, if you folks need support in learning about the great initiatives, the research, the programs that we have at the Office of LGBTQ Affairs, if you need technical assistance, technical support, or if you just want to build community, we are here to support you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sera. Thank you. Okay, and now I'd like to introduce our final but star speaker, Gabrielle Antolovich from the Billy DeFrank Center. She's no stranger to Santa Clara, so welcome again, Gabrielle.
What do I say after all of that? I'm Gabrielle Antolovich, a first-generation immigrant from Yugoslavia that landed in Australia in 1950. I was born 5 months after they arrived. And if you know history, the 1950s, after the war, you had to be a prissy woman and a very masculine man. It was a very binary time. And I was one of those children that said, I hate the color pink. I am not going to be a ballerina. And my mother was so shocked that she said, well, if you're not that, are you a tomboy? And I said, no. And that was the beginning of defining myself as a non-binary, genderqueer person before I even knew my sexual orientation. And I stood my ground at great cost. My mother rejected me, and I had anxiety attacks. But thank goodness I had a father who thought I was fabulous. And a 6-year-old needs that from a parent or a major person in their life. I was lucky my kindergarten teacher also supported my queerness, but they didn't have the word for it yet. So I want to say, what happened to me should never happen to a child. And when I was older and discovered that I was gay, and in the 60s, we didn't have a word for it either. I had to find the word lesbian in a pornographic book. And I ran home to my immigrant parents and said, I'm a lesbian. And they went, that's great. I forgot that they didn't speak English very well and had no idea what I said. So I lived in the illusion of being supported for who I was. And then, of course, I got into trouble for having crushes on female teachers. The school came home to my parents. My parents were very embarrassed, and I felt the shame of the family. If you have anyone that comes from Europe, shame is one of the things that washes over you when you don't fit into the dominant culture. Now, I don't begrudge my parents for what they wanted for me. They wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer and then marry one because I was female. And then they didn't care what to do after that. But I didn't want to be a doctor, so I made sure I lowered my test scores so I couldn't get into medicine in case they forced me into it. And so I left home as soon as I could and kept discovering more and more of who I am. And then I got involved in the very first gay community centre in Australia, in Sydney. And I was part of that in 1969. You know, that's a long time ago if you're young. So here I am. This was 1969, and I am back at a gay community center, the Billy DeFrank LGBTQ+ community center. And what is amazing to me is that having a community center for our community is as relevant today as it was in the beginning of the movement back in 1969 on the other side of the planet. And it really upset me a lot. All of the mass shootings took me down. I lost it for a whole week and couldn't figure out what could I do? What can I do more? And I just couldn't find an answer to that until a friend of mine gave me Amanda Gorton's poem, For the Hurting. If you haven't read that, it's really amazing. And then when I saw the artist meeting with each of the parents of the kids who were shot at the elementary school and painted their caskets of their favorite things, and I saw hope. And that I don't have to have the answer for everything on the planet. That what I'm doing at the Billy DeFrank Center is enough. So whatever anyone is doing, if you are doing the most you can do, then that is enough. Because we are not alone in the struggle of what is happening right now. I feel as if history is kind of repeating itself. So what I did was I reached out to the NAACP, and they said, please work with us. And I want them to work with us too, because if marriage equality is at risk, so is mixed race marriage at risk. And he reminded me, Bob Nunez is amazing. He's the new president for the NAACP. He said, remember, they're freaking out about transgender people in sports. They did the same about when they opened it up to many races, like African Americans in sport, and had the same conniption around that. So there are many parallels between all of us. And so my little thing is that the attacks may happen in sequence, but it's really happening all at once. There is a move that does not like any minority. It's the same people who hate all of us They hate indigenous people, the Latinx community, African Americans, immigrants, Asians, LGBTQs, anybody who doesn't belong to a particular type of person, and the poor, and the people who are not abled fully, physically and mentally. They want to eliminate all of us and believe that we are the economic problem that they're facing today. And it's like, so we need to unite. We need to unite a great deal. So the Billy DeFrank Center is going to be at Juneteenth, and I'm encouraging all LGBTQs and anybody else to immerse themselves on June 18th so that we can learn more about each other. And I am seeing that I can feel my spirit getting bigger again. I'm seeing hope. I'm seeing that, you know, I went to La Raza Roundtable. They are saying the same things. We need to all unite together. We need to understand that there is a big cloud over us, and people like myself who fought the anti-Vietnam War movement, the Aboriginal land rights movement, women's liberation, and then gay liberation back in the 60s. These issues are coming back again. And what I have seen is that whenever there's a move forward, there is a backlash. And we can't allow the backlash to drown us in sadness and disarray. And let's not attack each other in the frustration. Let's get active. And as much as some people I know think elected officials are, you know, not the best people on the planet, I think they are fabulous. We have heard some of the best here today. They are the ones that represent us, and we can come up with legislation for them to pass on a state level, a federal level, and on a local level. Elected officials, in my eyes, do a lot of work that sometimes is not actually appreciated enough. So there's a big shout out for people who are elected officials. I am publicly in support. Yay. Oh, yeah, I'm surrounded by you. Yeah, I'm just speaking off the cuff. And I also want to say I am honored that I've been at the Billy DeFrank Center. We are 100% volunteer run because I am working on, you know, having the flexibility to change things. And during COVID, we had to reinvent ourselves. You know, we now have big panel TVs. That means we can have hybrid meetings, you know, those kinds of things. And also our culture is very hurt by so many things out there. And I am hoping we can especially embrace the most vulnerable people in our community. People of color, our transgender folks, our young folks who don't know the history yet. I have found someone who knows the history, so I'm going to interview them so that people can learn from that in a wonderful way rather than history books. So, what can I say? I am proud that I've stuck it through at the Billy DeFrank LGBTQ plus Community Center as their board president. We've had a great team that has brought us back alive the last 6 years and still going strong. And we are celebrating our 40th anniversary a year late because of COVID. And that's going to be celebrated in October which will make it a black tie Halloween event, which is the gay, celebration. But we are going to really have a huge gala. And everyone is invited to celebrate. Just go to our website, DeFrank.org. DeFrank.org. I made a song out of it, DeFrank.org. And you will find all the opportunities to sponsor and everything else for that particular event. And I am hoping that everyone that has ever been positively impacted by being at the Billy DeFrank Center will come out of the woodwork and revel in our survival of everything and join our advocacy group, because we are joining with everybody to make sure the backlash does not happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabrielle. We love hearing from you. And Santa Clara is very deep in history and tradition, and the inaugural Pride flag raising event was 6 years ago, and we had Supervisor Ken Yeager and Gabrielle here as well. So because you are part of our Santa Clara tradition now, forever and ever, as long as you're alive, we would love you to do us the honor of raising the flag, and I would ask my colleagues on the City Council to join as well.